What is up, ladies and gentlemen? It is your boy James Eeks, and today we are back. Today, guys, the topic of the video is going to be the top 5 most influential Pokemon added in the Isle of Armor expansion. And what I mean by that is these are the 5 Pokemon that changed the meta the most. They made us want to build our teams different, all that kind of stuff. And the meta is very different than it was just a few weeks ago before the Isle of Armor. So I am very excited to educate you guys about this topic, and I'm excited to talk about it myself because I've been loving the new meta a lot. It's been a breath of fresh air, and I've been very happy with the new Pokemon that have, came with the new meta. So I am here to let you guys know the big scoop of the meta. And before we hop in, guys, please make sure to check me out on Twitch. We just became a Twitch partner, which is a literal dream come true. Twitch over there is my main source of income, my livelihood. So I would love it if you guys went and checked me out over there. And yeah, guys, I never remember to say this, but guys, do like the video. It does help your boy out a lot. You know, I don't do it very often, but do that for your boy. And let's hop into it. Alright, guys, hopping right in at number 5 is TERRAKION. Now, guys, I want to make sure to reiterate that Pokemon that influence the meta are, in my opinion, Pokemon that cause us to build our teams differently. We have to force ourselves to have answers to them, and I think TERRAKION is a good number 5. Now, TERRAKION is the king of the Justified beat-up combo. Yes, we've already seen Justified beat-up work, with Arcanine, Lucario, but TERRAKION is the final form. Now, TERRAKION is a rock fighting type, which is insanely good offensive typing. It hits 8 different types for super effective just off of its stat. And it is base 108 speed, which is super fast, way faster than our best beat-up Justified user before, which is Arcanine. TERRAKION's going to be outspeeding stuff like Charizard and all those other base 100s. It's going to be safely faster than Excadrill and all that good stuff. So TERRAKION is super fast. And as you guys can see, its stats, 91, 90, 90 as defensive stats is amazing. When it's Dynamax, it is not going down easy. It's probably going to hold something like a Lumberry even to get rid of that status weakness that you might try and hit him with. Yeah, he's going to be very, very scary. And he gets a plethora of good coverage moves. I mean, he's got Iron Head, Earthquake, Poison Jab, Mega Horn and X-Scissor, and Zen Headbutt. All of those max moves coming off besides its stabs are going to be very scary to play against. And TERRAKION rips apart the most common Follow Me user, Togekiss. Follow Me is the most common way of beating beat-up strategies, and TERRAKION is going to rip Togekiss apart. So, yeah, we are definitely going to have to watch out for TERRAKION, guys. He is no joke. He is no joke. Coming in at number 4 is my personal favorite, POLITOED. Yes, Rain is going to be a lot more common now, guys, with POLITOED in the mix. I'm not sure how long this Rain fad will last. We can see POLITOED and Kingdra are insanely high in usage right now, but I think it's just more people wanting to use the new fun tools. I don't know how good Rain is going to be in the long run, but I can tell you it is a lot better than it was back in Season 4 and before then. Now, there are still some Pokemon that give Rain a ton of trouble, such as Goodra, Gastrodon, Amoonguss, and Rillaboom. Amoonguss and Rillaboom now are complete monsters in this new meta. But the cool thing about POLITOED, guys, is POLITOED does not need to be on a hard Rain team. Now, when I say a hard Rain team, I'm thinking you see the team preview and they've got like POLITOED, Ludicolo, Kingdra, Ferrothorn, Raichu, and I don't know, something else. Like, it's just like their entire strategy relies on Rain being up. They fight for Rain the entire game. And POLITOED doesn't have to do that. POLITOED is so good because he's a bulky, versatile support mon who also does a lot of damage off that 90 base special attack. But I mean, yeah, he's got amazing moves, right there. Perish Song, Haze, Helping Hand, Icy Wind, and Encore. Those are crazy good support moves. And he's a bulky Rain setter. I mean, hard Sun teams, the Charizard, Torkoal, Venusaur stuff, they're going to have to think twice when they see a POLITOED on the other side. And then Tyranitar and Excadrill are going to have some trouble, too, dealing with POLITOED. Getting rid of the Sand Boost, and then their potential Swift Swimmer or Grass type, like a Rillaboom or something, is going to really be able to mess up Tyranitar and Excadrill. So POLITOED is very, very good. And then, like I just said, Perish Song. That is another option where POLITOED can finish out the game. You get those really quick Swift Swim, like Hyper Offense rain kills with Kingdra, with Ludicolo, Salutations, whoever you choose to use. And then POLITOED can end the game outright with the Parasong if you are in the right position. So POLITOED is going to be very scary, and I think POLITOED is so good because it doesn't have to be on a hard rain team. You can put him on a Good Stuffs team. Good Stuffs is just Pokemon with, you know, just good base stats, and they're just strong Pokemon. You know, like those Rotom-Wash, Dragapult, Tokus, Excadrill teams. POLITOED might be able to fit on those Good Stuff teams and just through its Drizzle ability really help patch up some weaknesses. So POLITOED is going to be amazing for the meta for sure. Now at number 3, we have the digital monster Porygon 2, DUSCLOP's ultimate rival. Yes, guys, Porygon 2 also gets the EV Life boost because it is in between Porygon and Porygon Z. And just look at those insane base stats: 85 HP, 90 defense, 95 special defense. That with an EV Light, absolute monster. Now guys, I would argue that as a pure supportive wall, the plain normal typing of Porygon 2 is probably superior to DUSCLOP's plain Ghost. You know, DUSCLOPS is weak to Ghost and Dark, and we've seen the Ghost and Dark Pokemon just ravaging the meta, you know what I mean? Like Dragapult, Tyranitar, of course, even Incineroar to a lower extent on the offensive scale. But yeah, I would say being a normal type, Porygon has that leg up on DUSCLOPS. I think the fact that Porygon 2 has more reliable recovery in the move Recover is insanely powerful. You know, DUSCLOPS had to rely on getting those Pain Splits. Sometimes they just forgoed running Pain Split at all, and then if you slowly whittle down DUSCLOPS, you're going to get rid of them. But Porygon 2 is here to stay. Another thing, guys, is Porygon 2 has way better damage options than DUSCLOPS. Porygon 2 commonly runs the ability Download, which, depending on the 2 enemy Pokemon, when Porygon 2 comes out, can get a special attack boost. There we go. He's got effectively +1 defense, +1 special defense, and now +1 special attack. Absolute monster if he gets that Download boost. And then he's got amazing attack: Ice Beam, Thunderbolt, Tri-Attack Stab, 20% chance to afflict one of those 3 status conditions, Shadow Ball 2 for the Ghost. So you guys are seeing that Porygon 2 has better recovery options and better damage options. Now, where is Porygon 2 weaker than DUSCLOPS? I would say Porygon 2 is weaker because it lacks those amazing utility moves that DUSCLOPS has, such as Haze, Imprison, and Will-O-Wisp. And then DUSCLOPS can also very safely activate partners' weakness policies with things such as Bulldoze and Brick Break. DUSCLOPS is a lot slower than Porygon 2 as well, so DUSCLOPS is gonna underspeed those Pokemon that you want to activate the weakness policy on, such as Rhyperior. So that's where I think that they differ. You know, Porygon 2 is the more consistent damage dealer, while DUSCLOPS is the more supportive team member. But they both can do both very well, you know, so Porygon 2 is absolutely amazing, and I think that Porygon 2 and DUSCLOPS are going to live they're going to coexist kind of like Incineroar and Arcanine, where they do fulfill a similar role, but they are very different, and it definitely depends on the team. So DUSCLOPS is not going anywhere, guys. DUSCLOPS is amazing, but so is Porygon 2. Landing at the number 2 spot should be no surprise to anyone that Amoonguss is this high up on the list. Now, I like to call Amoonguss right now the misunderstood mushroom. Now, while Amoonguss does shape any meta that it's involved with, I think that he is misunderstood because people are trying to say that Amoonguss is just like going to be another Venusaur. He's even more broken than Venusaur. Now, I am going to start up a rant here in just a second about Amoonguss versus Venusaur, but let's talk about the big pluses of Amoonguss first. He has insane bulk. You know, look at that HP. The defense is a bit low, but I mean, when you just fully invest in there, that HP stat really carries. It's hard to one-shot Amoonguss, especially when Amoonguss can afford to just run defensive items like Cobra Berry, Pyapa Berry, Focus Sash even, stuff like that. So, insane bulk, it's extremely low speed, makes it inherently a great Trick Room counter. It has redirection in Rage Powder, you know, similar to Follow Me. It just doesn't work on grass types. And then, of course, Big Daddy Spore. Spore, 100% accurate sleep move. Now, maybe you're thinking Amoonguss just sounds way better than Venusaur on paper, but let's get into it. Okay, the reason why Venusaur is so rage-inducing and annoying is because of its unpredictability and the inability to prepare for every single possibility when there's a Venusaur on the field. Venusaur can Sleep Powder you. You can prepare for the Sleep Powder, and then it Dynamaxes and just starts sweeping your whole team. It can be boosted by a Drought user from Torkoal, so it can go super fast Sleep Powder. or it can be super fast Dynamax, sweeping your whole team, especially now with its G-Max form. It's like Venusaur is even better. It didn't need Max Overgrowth, and now it's got the Vine Lash, I believe is what it's called. And then, worst of all, Sleep Powder can miss. Now, James, why is that bad? Why is it bad that Sleep Powder can miss? A meta that is so heavily reliant on Sleep to counter Dynamax is not very much fun for anyone. And the fact that the Venusaur player has to pray every time they click that button, every time they click Sleep Powder, it's a roll. It's a dice roll. They have to pray. They're relying on hitting that Sleep Powder to win the game. And then the opponent, your opponent, the not Venusaur player, you know, has to play the odds. They have to make risky plays. They have to hope the Sleep Powder misses, because you can't deal with base 80 speed chlorophyll Sleep Powder if you don't have, you know, Love Berry or Safeguard or something like that. You just literally have to hope. The game goes, the environment that Venusaur creates when you're playing against it is very toxic, in my opinion. It doesn't feel very fun or competitive when we're just blind Sleep Powder spam, like going at super fast speeds. Like, that is not fun to me. It's very annoying. And yeah, it's just, when Venusaur's on the field, it's more a game of playing the odds than strategic superiority. Now, the Mushroom does not have instant speed pressure. Okay, it's base 30. It's extremely slow. It does not have the damage output that Venusaur has. Obviously, its special attack is lower, and Amoonguss needs to run more supportive moves, such as Spore, such as Rage Powder, such as Protect, to keep itself alive. Like, it can't afford to just, you know, run 3 attacks and Spore. Like, it's just not going to work like that. It's just not going to be able to do that job as well as Venusaur. And then what it does have, though, is the redirection. It has an inherently low speed, which makes it a good Trick Room counter inherently. It's going to be slower than Rhyperior. You know, you're just going to be able to Spore Rhyperior easily with the Amoonguss under Trick Room. And then its Sleep move is 100% accurate. Amoonguss is going to cause more counters to Sleep to be necessary in the meta. But the thing is, Amoonguss is just much more consistently easy to stop. He's so slow, you taunt it. He's not going to be Dynamaxing, you fake him out. He's so slow, you could set up that Safeguard. You know, Togekiss, Venusaur Safeguard wars that were going on, they're both base 80 speed. You know, if he Chlorophylls, you're not going to be able to Safeguard. Yeah, sometimes it's a speed tie if they're both max speed. It's just, countering Amoonguss is so much more reliable and consistent. And Amoonguss is just a much more reliable and consistent Pokemon with its 100% accurate Spore. Like, and I think that is great for the meta. I think consistent, honest Pokemon like Amoonguss are great for the meta. Is getting put to sleep annoying? Yeah, it is. But Amoonguss is so much easier to deal with. It's so much easier to predict. And that's why I think Amoonguss is going to be great for the meta. He is more predictable, but he is insanely strong. You cannot underestimate the Mushroom. And now, sitting atop the #1 spot is Rillaboom. Okay? And to not cop out, because Rillaboom's already in the game, we're just going to say it's G-Max Rillaboom, okay? G-Max Rillaboom, #1. It got introduced in the Isle of Armor, all right? Now, is anyone surprised to not see Urshifu on the list, not even on the top 5? The thing is Urshifu is a very strong Pokemon, but I believe it is easily countered by strategies that were already prevalent in the meta, such as Max Airstream, such as Fairy attacks, and especially with the Psychic spam going on right now, the Water form is not going to enjoy that at all. And then Alakazam and stuff are running Dazzling Gleam to rip apart the Fighting and Dark one as well. So I just think, when I tried to let you guys know that I think Pokemon that influence the meta are ones that make you build your team differently. You have to prepare for them. They shape the meta themselves, and I don't think Urshifu shapes the meta. I think Porygon 2, Amoonguss, POLITOED, I think those made really big changes upon the meta, while I think Urshifu doesn't force you to build your team differently immediately. So, guys, that is why Urshifu is not on the list. But you know who is crazily influencing the meta right now? Rillaboom. Okay? Rillaboom is insanely good. Let's start with its G-Max move. And you don't even have to be G-Max. You can just keep the normal form so that you can constantly keep the grassy terrain up, with Max Overgrowth. But the thing is, guys, G-Max Drum Soul is 160 base power, which is insanely strong, no matter what move you use it off of. That is insane, because prior, if I were to use Grassy Glide with Rillaboom, it would do, I think, 120 damage. And then if I used Wood Hammer, my max move would do 140 damage. But now I can use just Grassy Glide on Rillaboom for a 160 base power G-Max move. That is insane. That unlocks so much damage capabilities, so many different damage possibilities without having to use that big attack on your team, such as Woodhammer. Woodhammer is an amazing move, don't get me wrong, but just the fact that you have the option to just run Grassy Glide and still have insane G-Max drum solos is honestly game-breaking. Grassy Glide itself, moving into the next part, is just an insane move. 70 base power priority grass move, and it's priority in Grassy Terrain, meaning it's getting boosted by Stab and the Grassy Terrain itself. Off of Rillaboom's 125 base power, I knew this was going to be strong, but I even think that I underestimated how strong Grassy Glide Rillaboom is going to be. I can't stress it enough. If you guys have been playing, Rillaboom is the #1 most used mon, and it is amazingly good. During the first 6 months of Sword and Shield, guys, we've been asking for a really strong grass type. We never really had those big grass types that we wanted to counter Rotom Wash, that we wanted to have an easier time against T-Tar Extra. We just never really had that super powerful grass type. Venusaur was added, and Venusaur wasn't really fulfilling a grass role. It was just fulfilling a I'm going to put everything to sleep and be annoying role. But our prayers were answered when Rillaboom was added. I think Rillaboom getting Grassy Surge was, now that we've had some time to sit on it, I think it is almost as big of a power shift as Blaze Incineroar to Intimidate Incineroar. Overgrow Rillaboom to Grassy Terrain Rillaboom has been a huge power shift in a single Pokemon, similar to Incineroar. I think Incineroar probably still takes the cake, but wow, Rillaboom is insane. Rillaboom has insane utility as well. He's not just a big attacker. He's got the utility in the inherent terrain control of Grassy Terrain. He's got Fake Out. He's got Taunt to stop Sleep Powders, Trick Rooms. He's got Knockoff. Knockoff is especially good with how good Porygon 2 and Dusclops are in the meta. Not being able to knock off the Eviolite is huge, and being able to taunt them too. And this is all while still having Fake Out, while still having that Grassy Glide, while still being able to G-Max and hit with the 160. It is, I can't stress enough, it's so good. And I mean, Rillaboom is great against a lot of common cores. It does well versus Rain teams. It does well versus Psychic spam teams, being able to get rid of the Psychic to Rain so that Expanding Force doesn't hit both Pokemon. It's great against T-Tar and Excadrill inherently. He can tank the hits and he can kill them back. It's great against Lapras. It can take that G-Max Resonance and then it can just smack back with a humongous grass move that can even one-shot Laprases if they're not able to get their Roarvel up before they get hit. And the list goes on, guys. Rillaboom is so amazing. It's going to be on a ton of teams, and we are going to have to prepare for it. And honestly, I welcome it. I think it is honestly a pretty honest mon. It's got a priority move, it's got Fake Out, and then it's got Grassy Surge. There's no variables that are really hard to deal with. You know, it's not Sleep Powder, it's not Rock Slide flinches. It's all just honest, strong stuff. And I welcome Rillaboom as of now. Maybe I'll get more annoyed with him in the future, but Rillaboom is sitting atop the meta right now for good reason. And with that, that concludes my list of the top 5 most influential Pokemon on the meta added in the Isle of Armor. Guys, I would not be surprised if you see at least one of these 5 Pokemon on every team that you face up against within the next couple weeks until maybe a little bit of hype dies down. But yeah, I am very excited to keep playing more VGC Season 5. It has been a lot of fun. I definitely welcome all these new fun tools and new Pokemon. And yeah, guys, make sure to drop over on Twitch for real. We're going to be using a lot of new fun teams. We're going to be experimenting with lots of the new tools in VGC 2020. We do plenty of other fun stuff over there. I do rate my teams for viewers with channel points. Channel points are absolutely free. You get them just for watching the channel. We do fun things like spicy ramen challenge. My girlfriend Alina pied me in the face just the other day. It's a lot of good fun over on Twitch. I would totally urge you guys to come over and hang out. And guys, of course, drop that like on this video as well if you guys really did like it. I would appreciate it a ton. And yeah, well guys, with that, I will see you guys next time. I love and appreciate you. Peace.